G'day and welcome to the Grow a Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Truen. Each week, we speak with an owner who has grown a business with 5 to 30 team members to something bigger. Diving into their numbers and unearthing the pain they've experienced, we explore what they did to overcome each barrier and what they would do differently from day one. Let's get into it.
Welcome everyone. Today I'm interviewing Amanda Jones, the Marketing Manager of Collins SBA in Hobart, Australia. And we're going to be discussing the 5 E's in customer experience, which I find a fascinating topic, and I'm sure all our listeners will get a lot out of it. So thanks for your time, Amanda.
You're very welcome, Michael. Thank you for the opportunity.
So if you can tell everybody how we know each other.
Well, I can say I'm pretty privileged to work alongside you at Collins SBA. Thank you. Only a short time, but it's great to work alongside you because I'm learning heaps off you, but I think we have very similar values about how we think about people, definitely improving the lives of business owners, but just how we genuinely care about other people. So that's how we know each other. It's a privilege.
Yes, and the feeling's mutual. It's been great since you joined the team at Collins SBA. So tell our audience a bit about yourself and I guess experience on this topic of customer experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a fascinating experience as well because the goalposts keep changing because, of course, our customers keep changing. 2 big things for me, probably about 2017, 2018. I'd been doing a lot of customer experience mapping and journey mapping with some really, really big complex clients, like Dell Computers and AT&T and Saks Fifth Avenue in retail in America. And there are 2 things that happened. One is I did Mark Whitson's mini MBA in marketing. I think you know Mark.
Yes, I haven't met Mark myself, but Troy has had Mark on podcast number 200 actually. So he's certainly a great mind in marketing and worth a listen to that podcast. Absolutely.
And he sort of triggered me, got me thinking about just the really good principles in marketing again. And then the second one was an ex-boss of mine, Andrew Farmer, and he's an expert in transformation strategies, like turnaround strategies and innovation. And he was, I was working with him at a technology and management consulting firm called Mirrors Australia, there in Sydney. And he taught me this concept of the 5 E's, and I loved it. He's an expert facilitator. But the way he broke it down and helped us understand what it was and how to use it, I was totally sold. Because I'd had I'd had that experience of working with really complex kind of approaches, and this one to me just seemed simple. I could literally use it on the run and get some value out of it straight away. And I think that was the key too, just get some action steps straight away.
Excellent. So let's talk about what customer experience is, because I'm sure everyone's got a different definition of this. So what is customer experience?
Yeah, good point, mate. I mean, you just Google it, you get like 1,000 different definitions, but I like the one that's, it's not mine, it's not original, but the sum of all interactions. So the sum of all touch points with you. So whether they've Googled your restaurant or your engineering firm or your architecture firm, right through to talking on the phone, to actually coming into your office, to coming back as a repeat business, that to me is customer experience. It's a sum of all those touch points and interactions.
So I'd imagine, and talking to many clients over the years, a lot of them believe customer experience is probably more customer service and not understanding the difference. So can you just explain what the difference is?
Yeah, it's a really good point. And yeah, I think we all sort of slip up occasionally, but I always think about customer service as just one of those interactions within the end-to-end customer experience. So, customer service could be a great experience. It could be not so good experience, say complaint handling, or something's broken or something hasn't gone right, but it is just one interaction. There's many more that make up that complete customer experience journey.
Yeah, and I just think of some instances of recent times. My experience in, say, restaurants. It as you say, it starts at the door and certainly doesn't necessarily end when you leave. But most don't do it very well. I guess that's the opportunity for businesses that I'd suggest, from certainly my experience, that most don't do customer experience very well. So if you do it well, then there's certainly plenty of upside.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're all looking for a bit of competitive edge, but I think it's one of those things at some point in your business journey, and not just once. I think it's sort of a thing that you come back and repeat, because our customers are changing, their wants and needs, their expectations are changing, and plus competitors come along. But it's one of those things we need to prioritise and fit into the schedule of all the zillions of things you have to manage definitely as a business owner, because there's definitely some benefits that come out of the work.
Yeah, and a good point about how customer behaviour is changing, has changed certainly since COVID in many industries, and I think particularly hospitality, having a bit of experience in that industry. So it's certainly not, and I don't believe things will go back to pre-COVID either. So it's reinventing your business, and in the context of customer experience is no different.
Absolutely, 100%.
So why should you prioritise customer experience?
I guess the biggie ones for me are definitely to understand where there's an opportunity for retention, or definitely repeat customers, because we all know that it costs more to go out and find new customers. So, optimize what you're already doing, and probably bits of it you're already doing really, really well, but look for the opportunities for repeat customers to come back. Definitely potential to boost the lifetime value of a customer. So taking them from $100 customer a year to maybe a $300 customer per year over 10 or 15 years. Opportunity to look at how you can boost brand loyalty and reputation. They're always good ones. That's a long-term game, and it's very top of the marketing funnel, but it takes time, it takes energy, and it takes budget and people and all those sort of things. And then, I think I just mentioned it, but it is about, where is the competitive edge? If you take, two cafes sitting side by side, where is the opportunity? You can compete on price, you can compete maybe on product offering, but is there an opportunity for competitive edge on how you look after the customer experience?
Do you love talking small business growth with other owners? We have a vibrant online community from many industries around the world. Plus, we regularly add new tools and resources for community members and host 2 webinars a month to help you grow your small business. growsmallbusiness.com.
Yes, and you mentioned lifetime value, which I think is a good point as far as a form of measurement. So could you maybe just give us a sort of elaborate on what that means?
I'll use the restaurant example. That's just an easy one because we're talking about it. But if you use the 5 E's, and we'll get to that in a minute. But if a customer comes for the first time, and then they spend $100 for that dinner, but the next time they come back for a celebration or an anniversary and they spend $250, and the next time they come back, they come to eat by themselves. Because there's all these different ways during the customer experience that you acknowledge the needs of that person, and that they just don't want one type of customer experience. That customer can go from, spending, $100 once a year to suddenly they're a $500 customer. And then with things like loyalty programs, they're not new, but, suddenly it goes from that customer only frequently, once or maybe twice in 2 years to, growing with that customer and their needs as their needs grow, and whether that's family or work or career or their friendship group or major milestones, but they go from just being, a small amount to, over a lifetime of being worth a couple of $1,000 each. So, if that's part of your, target segment of finding those kinds of customers, then that can become pretty lucrative over a longer time.
Yeah, it's probably fair to say a lot of businesses don't put enough effort into repeat customers and always looking for new ones rather than necessarily focusing on their existing. So certainly a great point. So the 5 E's. So just explain what the 5 E's stand for, and I guess talk us through the benefits of understanding the 5 E's from a business perspective.
Totally. So if you had a piece of paper, you would draw a big E in the middle, and that one stands for engagement. And that's where most business owners particularly are really good at what they do. It's the engagement is the provision of the service or product that you offer. And most people are doing everything they can to get that right. The edge or the opportunity for improvements sit on either side of that. So on the left-hand side of that big E, you'd have an enter, and we call that a transition point. And the E on the far left side of that is called entice, and that's where someone first finds out about you. So whether they've Googled you, they've seen a Facebook post, a friend's told them about you. That entice bit is how do I find the business or the product and service that's going to solve my problem, whether that's to go and get a beer to catch up with girlfriends, or it's to buy a new pair of boots or a new coat, or to get my tires fixed on my car. It's all those ways that people find you. And that first transition point before you get to engage is called enter, and that's where people can fall out. Because what I've seen on the brochure or on the website or on the billboard on the side of the road or the TV commercial or the radio commercial, all that stuff, once I start to enter into your business, I'm looking for validation that I've actually made the right decision. I've actually chosen the business that's right for me. So it can be a really scary one, because that's where people fall out. So that's a great E to think about. That marketing bit, that awareness, that first E, entice, before I actually engage and hand over money. There's so many ways that I could fall out. And so those first 3 E's are about getting in and spending money in the business. Then on the right-hand side of it is exit. And then the last E is extend. So exit is, as it sounds, it's, are we going to connect after this opportunity that I've had with your business? Is there an opportunity to keep this relationship alive? I'm probably not going to ask for it as the customer, but you as the business owner might have an opportunity to think about, okay, you're exiting my business. And it could be in the physical sense, like leaving a restaurant, or even, I've got new tires on my car, leaving the mechanic. There's an opportunity there for you to continue to connect with me, and at least, book in the next service, or upsell an opportunity, or book the next anniversary or birthday dinner, or come to a special promotion that we're having. That's another real competitive edge or opportunity to bring me back into your business. And that last one is extend, is like, how are we going to stay connected? What does that look like beyond just, say, a loyalty card? How are you going to keep me engaged? What opportunities are there for me to be involved in your business outside of just buying product or service?
Fantastic. And what I like about the 5 E's, it's not necessarily rocket science, is it? It's sort of,
no.
It is somewhat logical, but
Yeah.
but it's probably as much in a business just having the process that one probably documented, everyone aware of, and just having initiatives around each stage that everyone follows.
You're 100%, mate. Yeah. And it actually can be really fun, because generally what I've found over the years doing this workshop, as a facilitated session, you could definitely do it by yourself or with a friend, or, your teammates, or even a customer would be great, is you kind of always start with all the stuff that we do really great at each of those stages. It's almost like a natural thing. But once you start unpacking those, we're looking for moments of truth, or moments to provide a remarkable experience, not just, ticking off the kind of boxes. once you start getting into it and looking at, oh, we do that, but you know what, we could actually probably do that a bit better. Yeah, let's do some training, or let's do it, write a process, or let's look for some, innovative ways to do it. Like, it actually gets really, really, really fun. And most people end up like with absolutely amazing ideas, and they're not all big, huge bells and whistles. There's just little incremental improvements. But, if you think about that end-to-end customer experience, that's where, it gets, pretty cool.
Yep. So it's certainly perfect for small business in particular. So it's been fascinating. So just to wrap up, Amanda, what is at least one thing you would recommend a small business owner does on Monday after listening to this podcast?
Well, I hope they had some rest over the weekend, but I know grab some Post-it notes and a wall and just have a go. Just think, put your customer hat on and write the 5 E's up. And just put all the things underneath, like if you had all the time and money and people in the world, like kind of what would you change, or what would you like to add after each of those E's, knowing that, that middle E, like I said, you can't say that enough. Most business owners do that brilliantly. They know their stuff, they do that brilliantly. What you're looking for are those opportunities, to create, remarkable customer experience. So just get your ideas down and then just tick them off one by one, start prioritising them.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know you've got a one-page document that summarises the client experience pathway. So if our listeners want a copy of that, please reach out to Grow a Small Business. So once again, thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing that wonderful knowledge around the client experience pathway.
My pleasure. Thank you, Michael.
And for our audience, we would greatly appreciate a review in iTunes or whatever platform you listen to us on. More reviews means we bubble up higher in iTunes, etc. So more business owners looking for podcast help with their growth will find us.